I would sit there at night and be like, did I just, buy thousands of dollars of coffee that's now going to sit there? And now we moved through that in a week. And it's crazy to think like,
the excitement. We have a picture of Adam, like the first case we ever sold, like wholesale, like this box of 12 bags, and it was just so much joy and excitement.
Fueled by coffee, community, and a whole lot of heart. Welcome to Pocono Mountains Podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Jim Hamill. This is Season 5, Episode 40. We're stepping inside a small batch coffee roastery in the heart of the Poconos where so much is brewing. What started with 2 people, a garage and readers, has grown into a thriving craft coffee operation with beans sourced from across the globe. Adam and Brian, partners in life and in business, have poured everything into building Hrysek farms. From Guatemalan and Ethiopian beans roasted to order, to a vision of a future bakery cafe tucked against Big Pocono State Park. Their story is something truly special. More on that in just a bit. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, with 2,400 square miles of mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers. With historic downtowns and iconic family resorts, it's the perfect getaway. You can always find out more at PoconoMountains.com or watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7. Now, back to the episode. Brianna met up with Adam and Brian to learn about their hospitality roots to their hopes for a roastery cafe where coffee lovers, hikers, and neighbors can enjoy all of the above. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brianna Strunk, and we are at a special place today, Hrysek Farms Coffee Roastery, with the duo behind this small business. Thanks for joining us here on Pocono Mountains Podcast.
hey, how's it going?
We appreciate your time. Tell us a little bit about how this company got started from the early days, before this even existed.
Well, I guess the best way to do that would be, we started on a road trip across the country with a friend of ours and 3 dogs in a Ford F-150, and we ended up in Seattle. So we drove from here to Seattle with the dogs. There's always a drive. And we were going to open a cafe. It was right at almost the end of the pandemic when people were starting to free, and we didn't really know what we were going to do. So when we ended up in Seattle, coffee is a big, obviously, thing. And we noticed that consistently there wasn't just cafes. Every cafe was roasting their own beans. So on the way home, we pretty much stopped. We went through Montana or whatever, and we were talking like, well, what is this business going to look like? We knew we were going to start something. We knew it was going to be food oriented. And then it was kind of like, well, why don't we roast coffee? That's so cool. Like, and we could go from another angle. Instead of having a cafe, we could work with what we have and build out a lot of like a website and do it that way. So that's kind of how it was born. And then I came home 2 days later, we bought our little red roaster, loaded it up, and came here and built out a roastery.
Yeah.
So you got the idea on a road trip, but was your plan to bring that here to the Poconos, or were you planning to open a roastery somewhere else?
No, we're always going to be in the Poconos. Like, we live here, our family's here, like, so it was always going to be here in the Poconos that we did something.
Yeah, and I think it was just a different atmosphere. The idea ahead of time, Adam had already kind of gone down this road of like, oh, cafe. We got really in the vinyl, like I think a lot of people did during the pandemic. Everybody's pulling that old record. So the idea was, oh, a cafe, we'll have some records. It'll be that kind of space. And immediately seeing the vibe out west and how they were dealing with coffee and what the experience felt like, it's like, this is something that needs to come back home to us. We can do something like this.
What were those little things that you picked up on your road trip that you really wanted to incorporate into your own business?
It being very coffee bean based, I think it was the first time that I was exposed to it being like, where is this bean from? It has an origin and that has a story. Like, coffee isn't just this thing that comes in a cup. Like, someone had to grow that crop and then pick that crop, and then that crop has had to travel thousands of miles to hit here. Then it has to be roasted, and then it has to be bagged, and then it gets brewed. So we wanted people to understand that, like, at the end of the day, coffee, like, the origin is important. Each origin offers a different flavor note and a different thing.
Yeah, it wasn't just making coffee dessert drinks and add-ins and sugars and caramels and whipped creams, which is nice to make a nice drink, but it was really putting the accent on the natural origin flavors and building the coffee around that.
I feel like if people open a winery, they have to have some interest in wine. If you open a small business, you have to have interest in the product. So have you guys always loved coffee, or what was it about coffee? Are you coffee drinkers?
Honestly, no. Like, the coffee thing kind of happened organically. I always knew that I wanted to own a restaurant or put a food product out in the world that, had offers and an experience. It was more than just, over or whatever. And then coffee kind of just happened organically throughout the process, and, looking at the restraints and looking at what you can and cannot do, it just seemed like a really great fit for us. And then we learned from there, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say we always drank coffee, but just coffee. Nothing, it wasn't too much to the experience or understanding, and I think our journey in appreciating and understanding coffee has really grown with what we're doing here, the people we meet, the resources we have to kind of learn about this. It certainly changed it, and that with the love of food and baking, and it all just kind of came full circle, like, oh, this is a smart path to be on.
And let's back up how you guys met and came together, because your dog is also a big part of this story too.
Another drive, another journey. So I guess the us part of that is...
We actually met we both worked at a local resort. I was working in food and beverage, and we became friends. And then next thing you know, we had left that job, and over time we kind of just have been together for what now, 12 years?
Yeah. And the dog came into that. That was a nudge. I wasn't a dog person per se. Adam always wanted a dog. So years into our relationship, we were probably 5 years into it, we decided the dog, and I got to pick the breed and all the specifics. So online searches, decided we have a Japanese Akita, again, a unique, something different. This dog was a puppy in South Carolina. So we got into the car and had to take the road trip down. There was actually some kind of hurricane or something happening at the time when we were going down there. But yes, a quick drive down to North Carolina. We didn't get there to meet the dog until 11:30 at night. Picked up, exchanged. We thought it was going to be a quick drive, so we didn't plan for we didn't plan a hotel room or anything. We figured, right off of 95, we'll get a quick interstate hotel, no big deal. Everything's booked out. Because of the storm, everybody's in the hotel, so we couldn't find a place to sleep, and we ended up in the back seat of the Honda sedan, me, Adam, and the dog, in a rest area. I slept for a few hours. The dog is like, what's going on? Who are these people, and why am I here? And then the next morning we went out to Myrtle Beach, and we were walking the boardwalk, and we were trying to name the dog, and we came across some placards on the boardwalk, and one of them was
storm that had ever hit this particular area of the
Hurricane Hugo, and now we have a Japanese Akita named Hugo.
Very cool. Always a story with you two.
Story, yes, we love the story. It can't just be easy or. Yeah, always something elaborate.
Yeah. So during COVID, you're out west, kind of came up with this idea, came back and made it happen here in the Poconos. Did you two own this property and just plan to offer to build the roastery here, or did you buy this property as part of the plan to create a roastery?
We already had the property. We've been here since 2013. Have been living here, so longtime residents of the Poconos. We had this space that we're standing in now. Then very, very different space. It was a hodgepodge of memorabilia from our families, a couch, a pool table, decorations from holidays. This whole space was just filled to the brim of really nothing important, just heirloomy stuff. So when we decided hey, we have this property, we have this home, we have this land, we're already in nature, which of course traveling was a big part of that connection, was being in nature. Why don't we use the resources we have? And came out here. Adam gutted this place. We brought the roaster in. That was one of the first things that popped in, the red roaster, and put up the walls and painted everything and made this.
I kind of figured if I bought the roaster, I committed, So I came home and that's the first thing like I did, whether I knew it would. I didn't know anything about a coffee roaster. Like I didn't even equate that like the size of the roaster equated to output or whatever until like much later in this experience.
Yeah, you guys were committed. And tell us a little bit about, so you actually went to New Mexico to get this specific roaster that you really wanted, and that was also like an adventure all in itself.
So we pretty much had decided that it was time we needed a bigger roaster to keep up. At that point, we had finished our holiday season, which starts pretty much after Halloween and goes right until Christmas. And it's like our craziest time of year. And we realized that we could not keep roasting, and like we would roast all night and pretty much then go sell all day, and it would be happening for like days and days. So we committed to buying a new roaster. We found, long story short, the one we wanted. We were working with the company. It turned into a thing. Tariffs happened. Prices went all over. So we ended up finding a coffee roaster with a company called Coffee Equipment Pros, and we reached out to them. We bought the roaster, but it was in New Mexico, so we ended up deciding to rent a box truck and drove all the way to New Mexico to get this coffee roaster, just the two of us, in 4 days. So we drove 2 days to New Mexico, slept, loaded, came back in 2 days.
So when you had this plan to build the roastery here on your property, you had a different, smaller batch roaster, but you eventually upgraded to this one.
Yeah, we had a coffee roaster that was doing like 5 pounds at a time, a Bedeli, like nothing, kind of doing enough to make it happen, but not enough to be scalable. And then we ended up buying a Mill City that does about 30 pounds at a time.
So the roastery is not open to the public, which we should definitely tell people. At this point, you can't come here to the roastery. It's just where they do the roasting. But where can people find your packaged products?
I would say one of the greatest places to look is always HrysekFarms.com. We work with Shawnee. They might not have packages out, but you can definitely give their dining room a try. We try all their coffee. At the top of within the next 2 months, the Biscuit Coffee House and or is that hometown? Mountain Home will be offering all our coffee, and it'll have a variety of lineup. And then the Mug is also opening a new location down in Tannersville that you'll be able to buy all of our coffee as well.
And you said Pocono Resorts too. Is that Shawnee Inn and Golf Resort? Sometimes they have it.
They consistently serve us in their dining room. So for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the dining room, they consistently have us.
And you guys do farmers markets as well here and there, or events?
Yeah, you can definitely find us at events. We do a lot of things with, in town, we do Pride, which we're super excited about. That's going to be our first event of this year. And then we do Artisans on Ann. And
at the Pocono Craft Festival, Quiet Valley.
We'll be at Quiet Valley this year in the Festival of Wood. And then you could always find us at Chris Kindlemart and Music Fest.
Music Fest, yep.
But online's the best way to get the coffee.
Online is always the best. Anytime you buy 2 bags or more, we ship for free. And it's usually, when your order comes in, we roast everything with that week's production. You're getting it the freshest, and then it's shipped right to you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the countries that you source from and why that's so important for them as well as you?
Yeah, so we work with Papua New Guinea. That is pretty much one of our major countries we source from. It's become very popular. It's a very low acid bean, so it's very mild and gentle on your stomach, but at the same time offers a good flavor, so people seem to really like it. We do a classic Colombian that is another low acid bean, but it's our little bit of a darker roast, so it's just our take on a classic cup of coffee. We have beans from Tanzania that are a pea berry, so they're something unique in their own right. A coffee cherry normally grows 2 beans, but pea berry will grow 1, so it's a little bit more of a concentrated flavor. There's Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. So our Ethiopian is actually anaerobically processed, which means that the cherry has been fermented off of the bean over 72 hours, and it highlights the sugars and increases it. So when you smell it, it has this beautiful, like, bright berry note, and it's a very unique coffee in its own right. And then we have our decaf, which is a Swiss water processed decaf from Brazil.
And our Guatemalan.
Oh, and our Guatemalan.
Yes.
Our Guatemalan was actually sourced just for the mug. They exclusively serve it, and they very much wanted a cup of coffee or an origin. They very much wanted beans from Guatemala, so we sourced it. We did tasting. They picked what was best. So the only place that you're ever really going to get like Guatemalan, like in the cup, pre-brewed for you, is going to be the mug.
So for people who aren't like coffee connoisseurs, you have like different, what's the wording that you use? Like you have different types or roast, or like you kind of just talk about the variety that you offer.
Yeah, so I think the origins, being origin specific, every region, it's all the same plant. It's all the same coffee plant. It's all the same bean that comes out of it. But because of the climate and the elevation and the different factors that go into it, Central South American coffee, you get those chocolatey notes, you get that nuttiness to it. So they tend to be more medium roast. They handle dark roast better because that chocolate comes more forward and that roast mix in. Where you get into African coffees, and they tend to result in a more bright, citrusy, fruity flavor. So we want to leave that more on the lighter side of things. We want those inherent flavor notes to come forward. If we took that to a medium or a dark roast, you're roasting out that origin flavor and you're replacing it with more of that roasty, smoky note. And when you have something that starts as more berry, fruit forward, that roastiness doesn't necessarily play well with it. So you kind of want to leave that light. You want to leave that inherently in that bean. And every origin, Asian coffees tend to be more earth tones. You get like cedar, tobacco, anise. Again, those Sumatras that tend to fare better in that medium dark realm. So looking at the origin, what those flavor notes are, and our job is to just bring that out, bring that forward, and not be adding anything else to the coffee. We want it to come like that right from the roast.
So you guys met at a local resort and now Hrysek Farms. Are you doing this full time? Like, are you roasting every day?
That is hopefully the goal. One day we'll be roasting every day. We still both work. Me part-time to accommodate being able to come here and roast or do whatever needs to happen. Brian still does work full-time remotely, so there's that.
That's a convenience, yeah, that helps.
Yeah, so let's talk about your goals, because like we said, the roastery is not open to the public right now, even though everyone can easily get your products. But what are your dreams and your goals?
Our biggest dream is to open a cafe here locally, a cafe bakery. It'll most likely be here. Well, it's going to be here on the property, right up against Big Pocono State Park. We want to connect into the rails to trails so people can come out, hike and bike and get a cup of coffee, baked goods, experience the outdoors. We're really hoping that we can start making that happen this year. Some of our minor goals are probably just we're going to release a new origin for our limited release. So there's always that. It'll probably be from Costa Rica. Then we talked about earlier, like I want to find ways to get people here on weekends and, experiencing coffee in a different way.
And it really is. It's going to be the roast origin forward experience. You come in, take your time. It's unlikely to have a drive-through. We want you to get out of your car. We want you to come inside. We want you to get a feel for it. We want you to hang out for a little bit. Having drinks and a drink menu, of course, that incorporates different things that play well with the coffee, but natural flavorings, things that we're making in-house, simple syrup, stuff like that. A focus on the bakery aspect. We have been bakers for a while. We do love to cook. We love to be in the kitchen. That's a solid date night isn't really getting up and going out. It's like, oh, let's get some ingredients. Let's spend the afternoon like in the kitchen doing this. So we have been baking, sourdough baking, desserts, croissants. Those things are things that we can easily incorporate into that bakery experience in the cafe as well.
And you were talking about Rails to Trails, so people who are listening to this podcast might not realize yet that your property here, it's in Stroudsburg. Is it technically Stroudsburg?
The mailing address is Stroudsburg. We're technically Readers.
The Readers area.
Village of Readers.
So you have your house here, you have your roastery here. Across the street, you have something as part of your property that's truly unique. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we have Ryday's Gate, which is going back. There used to be a trail line between Easton and Wilkes-Barre that came up, dropped supplies. Ice was a big part. They came locally, stopped at the what is now, I think, Trout Lake, and they did ice harvest and they packed up. And that train went up here. Because of the obvious incline between Tannersville and Mount Pocono, they couldn't take the direct shot. So they came and brought this out around Readers, sloped it around Camelback. This is the old rail trail. Like right here, this road was the railway. Then it goes into the trail. That was decommissioned in the 40s, 50s. I think the 70s, 80s, they started to take up the pieces of that railroad bed, leaving a beautiful incline of a trail for hiking, biking, and then the trails that get a little more vigorous. It cuts off in a couple of different places depending on your difficulty level, but you can get all the way to the top of Big Pocono and explore that right around this area. And that is, if you go down about a mile, there is still a foundation off the side of the trail, but that was the Tannersville train station, the original what is the crossings. That was why they called it the crossings, was that was the area that would connect up. People would come up to the train, get their supplies, and go back down into town, and you still have some of that foundation and some of that history out there.
Very cool. So what is the name of this trail?
The trail is Ryday's Gate.
Okay, so do you own the trailhead and about a mile of it? Is that accurate?
We do. So the trailhead, the parking lot here is all part of our property, and then it goes out and clips into where it starts entering into Big Pocono State Park. So we have a nice section of that trail, which is named after the previous owners and their family that lived here. 100 years they had this property. And that carried over, and that is the historical remnants of the previous owner, who still lives down in Stroudsburg.
Yeah, he does.
And I think that's cool that it's your private property, but you do allow people to respectfully use the trail, and in the future you want to incorporate it into your business here right across the street.
We certainly do. We want to be able to tie that in, have people come out, enjoy the trail, bring their dog, bring their kids, go out, stop in, grab a bite to eat, a coffee, go on your hike, or go on the hike, stop in on the way back, but incorporate that. Great for bird watching, great for animals. You'll see a lot of different things out there, so building that to be part of that experience.
We hear so many stories that start with COVID, an idea or a struggle from COVID, and people get these big ideas for their businesses, and it really is part of your story. I mean, did you really think that you would be here, what was it, like 6 years ago at this point? Like, just sum up this experience if you can.
No. It's been, I really didn't quite realize what I always knew I wanted to own a business. I always knew it was going to be food oriented. We kind of accepted that that was going to be our reality a while ago. We were very much pre-COVID still working in the hospitality industry. And when, as time went on, you know, that the hospitality and everything stopped. Everything just kind of, everybody took a break. And coming out of that, I never realized like that, okay, I'm gonna start a company and I'm gonna do this. I never thought, there was a time I thought I wasn't gonna sell any coffee, like whatsoever. Like, I would sit there at night and be like, did I just, you know, buy thousands of dollars of coffee that's now gonna sit there? And now we moved through that in a week. And it's crazy to think like,
the excitement. We have a picture of Adam, like the first case we ever sold, like wholesale, like this box of 12 bags, and it was just so much joy and excitement. And there was, I mean, it was trying. It certainly wasn't just a walk in the park. We walked into this and it all just laid out. There was good times and there were some real struggles and some real like defining moments of are we doing the right thing here? But here we are.
But that really comes down like to one thing. Like, we're grateful that, you know, there's so many people that come, and we appreciate, you know, they order our coffee online. We see them every month, or they come and see us at every event. And the people of Strasbourg or Bethlehem or, you know, whoever, we're so grateful and thankful that we've met these people going out to events and meeting them, and the people that come and support our business in whatever form it is. You know, that's how we've gotten from maybe a bag a week to say 5 to 6 to 20 or whatever it is.
Great messages for entrepreneurs too, who maybe need that leap of faith to start their small business, and you guys are a great example. So thank you for sharing your story. If people want to try out your coffee, what's the website? How can they check you out?
So you have to go to it's www.hrysekfarms.com. So it's HRYSEK farms.com.
Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Pocono Mountains Podcast. And now we're going to go enjoy a nice cup of coffee.
Hrysek Farms, coffee, and so much more. You can learn more at PoconoMountains.com. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. We'll have a new episode each week highlighting lots of the fun things you can experience while you're visiting the Poconos. Subscribe and leave a review and or comment on whatever platform you listen. The Pocono Television Network is everywhere you are, including broadcast, cable, and streaming. Download the free PTN app on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and iPhone, Android, Google, and smart TVs. Or rescan and get the PTN digital signal in Philly, Harrisburg, Baltimore, and Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. Or if you're on cable, PTN is on Blue Ridge, Service Electric, and more, where you can watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, anytime at PoconoTelevision.com. We're back. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm Jim Hamill, now for a Pocono Mountains Podcast Extra. And if you like caffeine and chocolate, this podcast has been for you. Mocha Origins is another coffee roastery, but also a bean-to-bar chocolate factory on the campus of the Himalayan Institute. This story is from about 5 years ago, but the story is still just as sweet. Enjoy. Hi, everyone. It's Jim Hamill here in the Pocono Mountains, the rolling hills of Wayne County, and behind me here is the barn and the manufacturing facility for Mocha Origins. They've been around for about 5 years now, making bean-to-bar chocolate as well as coffee, and we wanted to sample some of the goodness here at Mocha Origins and share that with you and tell you what they're all about. So come on in while we check out Mocha Origins here in the Poconos. Well, here we are inside Mocha Origins here just north of Honesdale, and I have some really awesome people with me and amazing chocolate as well. The kind of chocolate you can drink, the kind of chocolate you can eat. And Jeff Abella's here as well as Beth, his chocolatier. They run Mocha Origins, and we've got Kate from the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau with us. She's going to be sampling the chocolate with us today. Everybody, thanks for joining us here.
Absolutely. We'd rather be nowhere else. This is it.
This is your home turf. You guys make chocolate here year-round. You've been here for about 5 years. Describe to me, this is not just the kind of chocolate that you would get at the grocery checkout line necessarily. This is really high-quality chocolate sourced responsibly from locations in Africa, right?
That's right. Yeah. So the whole kind of premise is to use chocolate and coffee as a way to directly trade with our farmers overseas that produce these beans, and use really chocolate and coffee as a vehicle to impact their lives. And so what we do is make bean-to-bar chocolate, where we literally go from the raw cocoa bean, we do the processing, the shelling, the stone grinding, the aging, the tempering and wrapping all here so that people can see it, but people can also get a sense of the handwork that happens 5,000 miles away in Africa where we source these beans.
And so this is something that you can find in locations throughout the country. You've got bars of chocolate, you've got drinking chocolate, you've got chocolate truffles made specially by your wife, right?
That's right, yeah. Definitely give her a shout out. We'll try them in a minute. And they're phenomenal. But yeah, you can find us in about 200 plus locations across the United States. Whole Foods and Mom's Organic Markets and places like that. It's using that moment in front of customers to tell a story about how ethical sourced beans can make better tasting chocolate and can have an effect on farmers' lives.
That's fantastic. Jeff, I've tried this before. I covet this type of stuff. It's amazing. It just comes right here in the Pocono Mountains out to the world. And we want to jump right in here because you've laid out such a great array of different chocolates for us. Please run us through, you and Beth, what we should be trying and what we should know about all this specialty chocolate.
There's not really a wrong place to start. Beth, where should we jump in?
All right, well, we could start with Uganda.
Okay.
Lately, we've been roasting it so that there's also like very juicy notes to it.
Wow.
Really good.
That is so good.
So we use that. We have some bars that are dark bars and some that are inclusion bars, but we pair the profile of each bean from each region with the inclusions that we add to it.
When people come to our factory, we're open 7 days a week and we do a lot of tours and tastings. First thing, we try to hit you with chocolate within a few minutes of you walking in the door. And one thing we like to walk you through.
Right away.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, even before you come in, right?
Yeah.
Smells wonderful.
We try to have you taste, the different countries' chocolate. So when you taste the Ugandan like we just did, and now we'll try the Tanzania and Ghana, same recipe, generally the same processing steps and formulas, but it's the characteristic of the bean that tastes different, and it results in a very dramatically different tasting chocolate.
So Tanzania's next?
Let's try Tanzania. Yep,
Okay, that
next
one's
up.
right here.
And take
Kate,
a look
help
at the
yourself.
color.
Can I get the big piece?
Absolutely. You got the big piece again. I picked you a good piece that last time around.
Interesting to note the red kind of tint to it compared to the Uganda, which had a little bit more of a darker shade.
Who am I?
I think of the Tans as kind of like the diva of the chocolates.
I can sense that in the flavor in my taste buds.
Yes, it really hits you up top, and if it's not roasted just right, it can be almost sour, but when you get it just right, it's just like there's this whole like roller coaster of flavor that goes on as it melts in your mouth, which makes it really exciting. And then we pair that with cherries, so it brings out even more of that juicy flavor.
I could see that tanginess being good in it. And you know what, it does have like a tiny bit of a bite, so it's that like spicy, tangy, but it's still smooth. That's what I love about all your chocolate, because I'm not a huge dark chocolate fan because of too much bite, but all of it is still so smooth.
Yeah. Reduced bitters happen when we roast it in a certain way, and then the stone grinding, it really reduces a lot of those volatile bitter flavors.
Well, let's sample another flavor.
Let's
Which
hit
this
it.
one down the
This
the
is
line?
Ghana.
And I'll say this much too. It's not just the experience of sampling their chocolate. It's the overall like creative aspect that you put into your packaging and to just your messaging and everything else. I think that it's really resonating with people who utilize these types of things to like share with people, to give as gifts, and to have in their home.
Yeah, well, it's Beth, the team. We have an amazing team. Joe, who's behind me, making hundreds of pounds of delicious chocolate, actually illustrates all the artwork on our packaging.
Oh, wow.
Prashant, who does our social media, also does the graphic design. So it's fun working with such a dynamic team that have many different strength and qualities to jump in and be creative in that process.
Yeah.
And you're also passionate about what
Yes,
you
they
do,
are.
which really makes it more of like an experience when you come here.
All right, so we've got 3 chocolates down, but this next one I've been craving just a little bit, especially over the summer months here. And Kate, you've been eyeing this up as well.
Yeah.
Well, we saved you one. This is a limited batch bar. It's our summer s'mores bar. We bring this out just for subscribers of our Mocha Box and special guests, of course, that come into our factory. So
You're too kind.
let's jump in.
All right.
Feel free, help yourself.
Oh man, look at that. You've got the vegan marshmallow on that, the graham cracker, and of course, the chocolate.
So Beth hand pours these and then tops with. Go ahead, tell us your tricks.
Graham cracker and then the vegan marshmallows, which are a little knacky because you want to make sure that every bite has both. It's important.
Yeah.
But mainly in the tempering room, we do sometimes just start putting things on the different kinds of chocolate, which is so much fun because you end up with these really kind of exciting ideas that then we can develop into something that could really be a Mocha Box bar. And every month we have for subscribers a brand new bar that's each one is super different. One day we were making our espresso bars, which is a chocolate bar with coffee beans ground into it. And we had a bunch of toffee because we also make toffee almonds. So we said, what would happen if we just put toffee on top of the espresso bar? And it was banging. So now that's going to be one of our mocha box bars coming up.
The coffee
But it's just
toffee.
super fun. Yeah.
It's like a creative process too, like sampling things. I mean,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, a lot of trial and error.
you've hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah.
When you first bite into it, and then when you get down further, you really get that kick of the rich milk chocolate,
Yeah.
which is a nice surprise because the first part of the bite is perfect too.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does taste like a s'more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we call this guilt-free gluttony because we take single origin cocoa beans, make really high quality dark chocolate as the base, and then we add the fun stuff. So, ultimately it's still very good, high quality and nutritious because of the dark nature of the cacao. Right. So, yeah, that's one of our funner bars.
That's a really fun one. Now, you have the bars, but you also have drinks that you cultivate with a lot of your ingredients. Which ones do you have on display here? You have 4.
That's right. So we are actually going to jump into our lattes. And
This is what we signed up for today, Kate.
totally.
We're taking one for the team, Kate.
So we now have a factory cafe, so you
Thank
can come
you.
in and enjoy this right on site with us. We roast it about 10 feet from where you're drinking it. And little backstory on our coffee, Mocha's founded in actually 7 years ago in Cameroon as a coffee cooperative project. And so coffee has been a part of our kind of origin story for a long time. It's a really important part of our business as far as the relationship we have with farmers there. That evolved into cocoa, and then we launched our factory 5 years ago here. But before we were making chocolate, we were working with coffee farmers in the mountainous region of northwest Cameroon in West Africa. So
All right.
cheers to 7 years.
Cheers to Mocha Origins. Oh, that is delightful. It really is. And you have people here who just welcome you as soon as you walk in the door. So whether you're coming for a tour, whether you're coming to take something home with you, you've got the actual coffee and lattes here made fresh for you, and then you can go out on hiking trails here at Mocha and Himalayan Institute and really enjoy the nature outside here, the 4 walls of the barn and the factory, the whole Pocono Mountains region.
It's a whole experience. Yeah, you can come out here. We're nested right in the beautiful Poconos at the campus of the Himalayan Institute, and then you come in, and not just can you enjoy the cafe, but as you're eating the chocolate, you can see it being stone ground or the roaster preparing the beans. So, it brings your awareness to the process unlike you typically would when you walk into a normal cafe or chocolate shop, and that awakens the understanding of the supply chain and the farmer's relationship in that ultimately, and then how much hand care the team puts into making high quality product. And yeah, we hope you taste the difference.
It tastes really good.
It's amazing.
One last thing.
Okay.
We gotta jump into those truffles.
Okay.
My wife Chelsea works really hard, and they are so delectable.
I'm okay with that. And you can only get them here at the factory, right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So help yourself.
Thank
We're
you.
all
I'll take this
dig
one.
in.
Kate, do you want one here?
Yep.
Should I? No? Okay, all right.
And this is definitely a hand care situation because Chelsea's been hand rolling each one of the truffles. She makes the ganache by hand, mixes it all together. She melts down chocolate that we, are using for other things, and then we'll add different stuff to it to make each one have a special flavor that goes with it. You can see from the toppings.
Yeah. Yeah. These aren't like launching off of a conveyor belt. These are hand
Now, what
created.
are we eating today? Which
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, so that is a dark chocolate ganache coated in single origin dark chocolate and topped with cocoa nibs. So those crunchy bits on top, those are the insides of the cocoa beans.
Wow.
So you'll get kind of that, bitter dark chocolate burst of flavor, really balanced with the creamy ganache that's inside.
I love all the different textures and everything here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, texture's a fun one to play with, especially on the bar side.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to sample this texture right now. What do you think?
Like everything, it's so good and so original.
Walk. No, don't walk. Run to the nearest place that sources Mocha Origins and especially this place here at the Himalayan Institute campus. You guys have this factory. You guys are open how many days a week?
7.
7 days a week.
Yep, 9 to 4.
Come on in, make sure you sample everything that you can sample, and then take some home for the family.
Especially because Christmas is around the corner. Especially here.
Yeah.
We do Christmas early because we have to pour so many of these bars. These are our only 2-layer bars right now that have both the white chocolate and the dark chocolate, and then organic peppermint candy on the back. So each one of these, it's a little more labor intensive. So we start a little bit early so we can make sure that we make enough. But they're the stars of the season. So we're going to start blasting the Christmas music here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, Christmas does start early, doesn't it? Yeah.
So
This is our
with the
limited batch
holidays on the
peppermint.
way,
Yep.
you guys would have a limited amount of these.
Yeah.
So people should get here and get them before they're out.
Yeah, we only do a few thousand. We have them on pre-order, so you have to order them in advance. And
wow.
they're very labor intensive. It's a single chocolate bar that has to be poured twice. We pour a white layer of chocolate, and then a dark chocolate layer, and then hand top it with candy cane, all organic and kosher certified, and made with a lot of love.
It
really is.
a great gift for the holidays.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
That you can feel good about because of the labor and everything that went into it. That was humane and good and just all around.
A lot of Yuletide glee. A lot of it, right? In just one bite.
Exactly.
All right, well,
Thank you guys so much.
The chocolatier here, Jeff, one of the head honchos here of Mocha Origins, running this show for 5 years, hopefully many more years after this. Kate, thanks for joining us for this podcast here on Pocono Mountains Podcast, as well as on Pocono Mountains Magazine. We are going to bid you adieu because we have a lot more work to do here to tackle all this chocolate.
You're not done yet.
We're not finished.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Mocha Origins. You can learn more at PoconoMountains.com. We hope you enjoyed Pocono Mountains Podcast. Please remember to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Plan your trip today.